Hello and welcome to Crime Watch Daily Updates. I'm your host, Anna Garcia. In December of 2011, Jaymie Adams went to a local McDonald's in Oklahoma City and never returned. What happened to this 25-year-old who also happened to be 8 weeks pregnant at the time of her disappearance? Her body was found 1 month later with over 20 stab wounds and blunt force trauma. Police initially suspected her husband, Justin. As it turns out, Jaymie worked as a prostitute and Justin, her husband, advertised her services on Craigslist, which is how she met a man named Joseph Cyr. Investigators found Joseph Cyr's semen on Jaymie's body, and they charged him with Jaymie's murder and the murder of her fetus. Joseph went to trial in 2016 and was convicted. A judge sentenced him to 2 life terms in prison. Joseph appealed his conviction, arguing he didn't know that Jaymie was pregnant, so there wasn't intent of killing her child. In 2018, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals sided with the trial court's ruling and sentencing. Let's look back at the case of a young woman whose family was broken apart by a Craigslist killer.
A pregnant woman goes to McDonald's and vanishes into thin air. Where is Jaymie Adams?
Our children need their mother.
Jaymie's husband, Justin, makes a tearful plea for her return.
My son, Miracle, you're watching this. I want you to know that I love you. And I can't wait to see you again.
But Jaymie would never see that TV report. She was already dead. Her mutilated body was found a month later on a dirt bike track in a remote field. 29 stab wounds ended the life of Jaymie, who was 2 months pregnant.
My wife is a loving, strong woman.
Justin reportedly told cops Jaymie went out that night to meet a friend. Investigators say that friend was a John. Jaymie was a prostitute. Prosecutors say Jaymie advertised on Craigslist to find her customers. Her mother-in-law tells our Oklahoma City affiliate KFOR she wasn't surprised.
Jaymie done it before she met my son, and they fell on hard times. So Jaymie fell back to the only thing she knew, a single mom trying to feed her kids.
And as it turns out, Jaymie's pimp was her own husband, and cops believed her killer. Justin was soon charged with murder.
My son's guilty of loving his wife, not murder.
He denied it, and his defense team says there was no physical evidence tying him to Jaymie's killing.
There's nothing that puts Justin at the crime scene.
And that's why Justin was eventually released from jail, and the murder charges were dropped. Private investigator Dana Reyna collected evidence for his defense.
I do believe that her lifestyle and the lifestyle that Justin had gone along with ultimately resulted in her death.
Keep in mind, they filed a murder charge. They say, we have the guy that murdered Jaymie Adams. We had the one that took her out. We had the one that stabbed her and cut her up and mutilated her body. And all along, they were totally wrong.
So if Justin didn't do it, who did? During the investigation, detectives say Justin posted this shocking ad on Craigslist. I am letting any willing man come and have his way with my wife with a little compensation for us to help with our holiday funding. Apparently, they found that willing man, a John named Joseph Cyr.
I think he's a Craigslist killer. This guy's crazy, and I think it's scary that he's been out actually free all this time.
Investigators say cell phone records tie Cyr to the timeline of Jaymie's death. They say his phone pinged a cell tower in the area where Jaymie's van was found. He was charged with a murder and denied he did it. Though investigators found his DNA on her body, there was no blood or other physical evidence linking him to the crime. And in the courtroom, on constant display for the jury, the jacket Jaymie wore that night. Justin testified, admitting he pimped her out, but saying he regrets what he did. The trial went quickly, and so did the deliberations.
The defendant is guilty with fixed punishment set at life without the possibility of parole.
Joseph Cyr showed no emotion as he learned his fate. He was also convicted of the murder of Jaymie's unborn child. Bailiffs cuffed Cyr and took him away.
There was a wealth of information that we presented them, a ton of information to the extent I've never seen in a single case. And for them to go through that, I think they did so diligently.
The DA eventually charged Jaymie's husband, Justin, with first-degree manslaughter because of his involvement in her lifestyle.
I think what they're trying to do is save face, saying he allowed her to go on Craigslist and that caused her death. Well, I think that's baloney.
Justin pleaded guilty and received 2 10-year suspended sentences. His mother says his real sentence will be much longer. He will live with guilt for the rest of his life.
He said, I'm going to have a felony. I'm going to have to live with Jaymie being gone. And he said, one day I'll have to tell that boy about his mama.